Welcome to this evening's Royal Society Biology Policy Late, which is going to be on supporting students through educational transition. Welcome. This is the latest in a series of online RSB Policy Lates, all of which are sponsored obviously by the RSB, but also by our sister organisations, the Biochemistry Society, the British Pharmacological Society, the Society of Applied Microbiology, the Society of Experimental Biology, and the Physiology Society. So the purpose of these lates is to introduce current topics and then foster a debate, discussion, an exchange of ideas and knowledge around those areas. So these would normally be run as a face-to-face event where we would have a question and answer session and talks with a panel. But unfortunately, obviously, due to the current situation we all find ourselves in, the series has to move online. So this is the fifth of the current series, but it's the first of 2021. And obviously, with the nature of the online events, obviously feedback would be welcome if you can pass that to the RSB after the event itself. If you're interested in previous policy lates, which have been run by the RSB, you can view these on the RSB's YouTube channel. These include some cutting edge topics and interesting topics, including the climate crisis, healthy aging, and antimicrobial resistance. So the organisation of the evening we will have three 10-minute presentations on different topics. I'll introduce the speakers in a second. And then after those 10-minute talks, those three 10-minute talks, we'll have a question and answer session where the audience and our participants are free to answer questions or ask questions. And then we'll have an open debate basically to answer the questions themselves. If you have questions, can you please type them into the question and answer box? I, as chair, I'll be monitoring them, and then I'll raise them and address them when they come up. So the topic itself is educational support through different stages of education. So when we put the agenda items together, what we've effectively done is decided to choose three different types of support. The first one will be on support of undergraduate education, so traditional higher education degrees, where we'll talk about transition into and then throughout biological science degrees. The second talk will be on one of the newer types of degrees we run across the sector, which is the degree apprenticeships. And then finally, we'll talk about sort of the types of skills that students need to acquire that will aid them in the transition from their studies into the workplace. So I'll introduce the speakers in a second, but first and foremost, I'll introduce myself. My name is Phil Young. I am an associate professor at the University of Warwick School of Life Sciences, where I'm the director of undergraduate studies. I'm also a member of the RSB's Education Science Policy Committee, and I also represent the ESP committee on the RSB's Diversity and Inclusion Committee. I have a vested interest in educational support through my role. I'm involved in learning analytics, monitoring attainment gaps, ensuring student support is what needs to be. And obviously, as most of us, over the past year, I've been involved in helping the migration to blended teaching in the COVID environment. So we've got three different speakers. I'll introduce them all individually before their talks. But first and foremost, we have, in the first talk would be Dr. Katharine Hubbard, who is a reader at the University of Hull, who will be giving you the overview to educational support in normal, traditional biological degrees. We then have Daniele Acquisto, who is on a fourth year of a 5-year degree apprenticeship, I believe. Danny will give you an insight into the degree apprenticeship schemes and the support that students can happen and how we can help students through degree apprenticeships. And then last but not least, we have Professor Rory Duncan from UKRI, who will be giving you an overview to the skills and some of the skills that will really help students in their transition from their studies into the workplace.